for the Lord who was on our side. And he realizes that his is not just a personal experience. And so he enjoins all of the people of God to acknowledge this fact. Had it not been for the Lord who was on our side, we wouldn't have made it. We would have fallen long ago. We would have perished. For life is filled with many perils. He speaks not only of the perils from the enemies, but of just those difficult experiences of life that we often go through that seem like they are going to overwhelm us. The deep water in which sometimes we feel we are drowning. A severe prolonged illness. A death of a dear loved one. Financial hardships. The breakup of a marriage. These are all deep waters that threaten to engulf us and to destroy us. Those places where we're at a loss in knowing what to do. We have done everything we know how to do. And yet it seems that things are none the better. And it may be that some of you this morning are going through deep water of this sort. And really, that's the reason why you're here. You're sort of come to the place where you've got to reach out beyond yourself because you know that you've done all that you can possibly do. And still you're drowning. You haven't found any answers. And you're finally reaching out to God in hopes that there's an answer for you in God, that God maybe will somehow, some way see fit to help you today. Living is dangerous. And so it is. Life is fraught with difficulties, with dangers. And it's good to know that God is there on our side to help us. You say, well, isn't that sort of presumptive to say that God is on your side? How can you say that? Well, you can say that if you're on God's side. And really, I think that it is more important that I'm on God's side than He's on my side. And I rarely seek to conscript God to my side, but I always seek to be on His side. The king Asa, when he came to the throne, was just 25 years old, began to reign over Judah. And shortly after he began his reign, his kingdom was threatened by an invasion of over 1 million people from Ethiopia. Massive invasion with chariots and all. Asa, hopelessly outnumbered, outgunned, so to speak, came to the Lord in prayer. I mean, you're facing a situation of which you know that you don't have an army sufficient. You don't have the strength sufficient. You're forced beyond yourself. You go to the Lord in prayer, which he did. He went to the Lord in prayer. And he began his prayer declaring, Lord, it is nothing for you to help those who are weak or those who are strong. It doesn't really make any difference to you, God, whether my army is strong or my army is weak. Doesn't matter to you. Help us, O Lord. For in your name, we're going to go out against this enemy. We're going to go out against them, though we are outnumbered by them, and though they have more chariots than we have. We're going to go out against them. We're going to go face them. They're coming to invade the land, and we're going to go out against them. Now, speaking from a natural standpoint, we don't have a ghost of a chance, but we're going to go out anyhow. We're going to defend our families, our homeland. In your name, we're going to go out against them. Don't let man prevail against you. I like that. God, we're on your side. We're going to go out in your name. So don't let man prevail against you. You see, that's putting the whole thing in the right perspective. Yes, if it had not been for the Lord who was on our side, if it had not been that God helped me, the enemy would have overwhelmed me. I would have fallen prey. But because God was with me to help me, I was able to conquer. I was able to survive. I've come through. And then as Asa returned from that battle victorious, the prophet came out to meet him. And the prophet said, "The Lord will be with you as long as you will be with him. And if you seek him, he will be found of you. But if you forsake him, he will forsake you." So how can I say the Lord is on my side? Because I'm on his side. I seek him. I have sought him. And he has promised, as long as I will be with him, he'll be with me. As long as I seek to walk with him, he will walk with me. But you see, not everybody can say the Lord is on our side. In fact, in Psalm it says, "The face of the Lord is against the wicked." If you have set yourself in opposition to God, then God will be opposed to you. If you set your heart against the ways of God, then God will be against you. The face of the Lord is against those that do evil. But the hand of the Lord is with those who will do his good. In Paul's letter to the Romans, he asked the question, since God is for us, who can be against us? Any circumstance, any problem, any difficulty, any enemy that you might face is no match for God. They may be more than you can handle. The Bible says, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. If God be for us, who can be against us? But it's important that we see the situations and the problems in life with that perspective, with the power of God as the perspective. For the psalmist closes this short little psalm by saying, our help is in the name of the Lord who made heaven and earth. You see, he's reminding himself of the tremendous power of God. The Lord who is for me. If it had not been that the Lord who is for us intervened, we would have been destroyed. But our help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. You see, when we are in the midst of a problem that seems to be drowning our souls, When we're going through these experiences, interpersonal, financial, or whatever, that just seem to be wiping us out, and we don't see the answer, and it just seems that things are getting worse, and I can't see any light at it's just darkness ahead, and I see no hope, I see no way. It just seems so bleak, and I'm forced at that point to reach out for help beyond myself. I know that I can't do it. I've got to reach out for help. It's so good to know when I reach out to God for help that this problem that is overwhelming me is really nothing to Him. After all, He made the heaven and the earth. Because when you realize the power of God, the greatness of God, the one who helps us, for the Lord is our help, who has made heaven and earth. And when you realize that, then suddenly our problems shrink. We see them now in the true perspective, not in the light of my ability or my strength or my capacity, but I see them now in the light of His power, His glory. And those things that were just drowning me, my soul was drowning in the dilemma, is no longer a problem, because I see them now in the light of God, His power. I don't have to rely on my own strength. I don't have to rely on my own genius, my own capacities. My help comes from the Lord who made the heaven and the earth. And it had not been for His help, I wouldn't be here today. How many times I can look back in my life and see where I was pressed to the wall and didn't see any way out, but God came through and God delivered me and God brought me out of it. And here I am. Now, God didn't bring me this far just to dump me. He didn't bring me this far to say, okay, I brought you this far, now you're on your own, man. You just see if you can make it from here. No way. The fact of God's help and deliverance in the past gives me assurance of His help and deliverance in the future. And I realize that the dangers of life, the circumstances of life, the perils of life, whatever I might face in the future, whatever uncertainties that are lurking out there in my path that I'm going to be coming across sooner or later, no matter what's there, the Lord who has delivered me and brought me through this far will take me all the way, for He will complete that work He has begun in my life. The Bible says He is the author and the finisher of our faith. Whatever God begins, He always finishes. He hasn't begun a good work